Hola, I made a new Discord server. It's called Omen Nexus. If you want to join the community, make some new friends, interact with me, or keep up with future projects and stuff, feel free to click the top link in the bio below to join. Okay, let's get started. Do you guys remember that mind-bending, trippy, distorted, 3D animated Adventure Time episode, A Glitch is a Glitch? Well, that episode just turned 10 years old earlier this year, and today, I wanted to spend some time reminiscing about the episode. I basically just want to discuss the plot of the episode and just talk about what I liked and what I didn't like about it, and some other trivia as well. This Season 5 gem was brought to life by the talented Irish animator David O'Reilly, known for his mind-blowing 3D animation style. The episode released on April 1st, 2013. In fact, I believe this episode was meant to be an April Fool's Day special. And the synopsis of the episode reads the following. Ice King creates a computer virus to delete everything except him and Princess Bubblegum, so Finn and Jake try to remove the virus before it can glitch out the universe. With all that said, let's buckle up and dive straight into A Glitch is a Glitch. So the episode begins with Finn and Jake using what kinda looks like an old Macintosh computer from the 80s to animate Ice King. Jake asks Finn to make the Ice King appear angrier, but Finn's attempt falls short, leading Jake to express his frustration that it's no longer amusing. Finn then shares his impatience with animation, suggesting that those who make a living from it might not have much of a personal life. In an unexpected turn, Finn punches himself in the face. You know, I really appreciate moments in TV shows when characters become self-aware or break the fourth wall, and this instance stood out as a noteworthy fourth wall break. It seems David O'Reilly, the guest animator for this episode, was not willing to put up with any of Finn's bullshit. So shortly after Finn's self-inflicted punch, a cinder block is hurled through the treehouse window, carrying with it a floppy disk. Now, I'm sure most of you have at least heard of a floppy disk, but for the one person watching this video that thinks that a floppy disk is some type of adult sex toy available in Spencer's, a floppy disk, to put it simply, was a type of disk storage used before CDs. They were ultimately phased out because of their limited storage capabilities, and also because they were ugly. Jake initially suspects it's from the Ice King, but when he inserts it into the computer, a video of a woman consuming a clump of her hair begins to play, which surprises and repulses Jake and Finn. What's worth noting is that this video is a real creation by David O'Reilly, accessible on his YouTube channel under the title NX_VCZMQ9W, showcasing the girl consuming her hair. Now, what I will say is that watching this video independently can be quite unsettling compared to its inclusion in this episode. Now, while it was rumored that this video was an old piece of work that David decided to feature in this episode, it's actually a piece that he created alongside the episode and released it just a week before the premiere. David was inspired by those shock sites that we've all accidentally stumbled upon growing up, like, you know, meat spin, which is probably why Finn and Jake are just completely grossed out by the video. However, their disgust turns into concern when they realize that the floppy disk actually contains a virus that is now wreaking havoc on both their computer and the digital world they currently inhabit. Meanwhile, PB is enjoying her day, flowering her oh my god, Jesus Christ, watering her flowers. Was I really just about to say flowering her waters? I gotta step outside for a bit. The Ice King arrives and reminisces with PB about a time when she allegedly mentioned that she'd consider going on a date with him if he were the last person on Earth. PB, however, doesn't recall this conversation, but before anything else can unfold, Finn and Jake rush in at an urgent pace to alert her about the computer virus. As expected, it turns out that the Ice King is the mastermind behind the virus, and he harbors a sinister plan to erase everyone except himself and PB from existence. The Ice King vanishes into a swirling vortex. Ooh, look at those effects. Whoa, whoa. And suddenly we are startled by an unexpected moment that I personally found quite terrifying. I'm not even gonna lie, this genuinely scared the Christ out of me. Even rewatching this episode, I completely forgot about this moment, so I was genuinely surprised when that Donut came bursting out of the building with only his anguished cries echoing, "My beautiful face! My hopes and dreams ruined!" Followed by the glitchy effects and distorted sounds. Like, I wasn't mentally prepared for that. That moment, for some particular reason, just felt like it was taken from a creepypasta. It just did not feel real to me.
My beautiful face! My hopes and dreams ruined!
What also doesn't feel real to me is the fact that PB just casually pulls out a gun and says, "I'm gonna take care of it too." Now, for context, it's a candy horse tranquilizer, but we don't learn about that until later in the episode, which just makes the scene even more hilarious, especially for people who haven't seen this episode before and just see PB pull out a pistol. Following that, there's a sequence showing Finn and Jake attempting to assist people in the midst of the virus havoc, but they find it challenging because the virus is gradually engulfing everything. Not only are the candy citizens disappearing, but the entire candy kingdom and the world are also being affected. In response, Finn suggests they formulate a plan, but Jake, in a responsible move, takes a 52-second power nap. Upon waking up, Jake devises a rather unconventional plan based on his dream. He envisions Finn wearing tights made of green feathers and envisions himself as a wisecracking coelacanth with a hunger for popcorn. They find themselves trapped inside a massive egg, and Finn begins to express himself through sign language. However, the Ice King's glitchy elements start encroaching on Jake's dream, leading him to soil himself. In the end, Finn attempts to communicate with the virus, which ultimately becomes their chosen strategy for how to take down the real virus. So Finn decides to confront a portion of the virus, hoping to get some answers. The virus, however, in a confusing twist, claims that it can't assist them, with its subtitles appearing in a backward manner. While Finn continues to investigate the virus pile, Jake attempts to decipher the reversed text. Eventually, Finn discovers an entry point and seizes Jake, and together they dive in just as the screen transforms into a chaotic and glitchy mess. The screen goes crazy. I mean, I can't even lie, this transition is really cool. Kind of reminds me of like something from Tron. Eventually, Finn and Jake enter digital hell, or the universal source code, at least according to Jake. While exploring, Jake ends up combining a snake and a spider together using the code, which I'm not gonna lie is really cool, and I would like to keep that snake-spider hybrid animal as a pet. The boys eventually find the glitch monster, who looks pretty similar to the Ice King, you know, if you take away the glitchy effects. While the chaos unfolds, the Ice King pays PB a visit for their supposed last two people on Earth date. PB takes charge, aiming her tranquilizer at him and demanding the antivirus. Ice King brings up the date PB allegedly promised, but PB responds by repeatedly tranquilizing him until her weapon vanishes, and the Ice King is quickly cured. She then delivers a reality check, pointing out that she's still in existence, so Ice King cannot be the last person in OO. In a quirky turn of events, she starts making out with her hand. What are you doing? Ice King gets all excited and offers his hand to her, and sweet Jesus blood, get you some lotion for those old people hands. What the fuck are those? Meanwhile, God, this is happening. What the hell is this episode? Jake loses his arm, and we are presented with a flashback of him hanging out with his arm. Jake becomes enraged and wants to fight the virus to avenge his arm. So they rush towards the bug, but soon begin to lose their bodies. Meanwhile, is there another word for meanwhile? Because I feel like I've said it like 500 times already. Concurrently? Can I use it like that? It doesn't matter. Anyways, PB goes ballistic on Ice King. Good. Finn, sporting nothing but a head, rides Jake through the digital world to fight the virus. We then cut to a 1 second later display on screen, which lasts way longer than 1 second, which I think is the joke. In fact, it eventually overstays its welcome, like your least favorite uncle during the family Christmas get-together. Time to call the police. Finn and Jake ingeniously devise a plan to help the virus expel everyone and everything it had consumed. They recall the strange video they watched earlier in the episode in which a girl consumed her hair. Taking inspiration from that video, Finn reveals his own hair, and together with Jake, they start nibbling at it. This unexpected action causes the virus to gag and eventually regurgitate the entire digital universe, undoing its effects. Everything returns to normal. Ice King gets stuck in a wall, much like how sometimes players in certain video games become stuck in walls, or objects or other players randomly. It happens way too often in Call of Duty. Donut Man is still screaming, and PB is in the Ice Kingdom, smashing Ice King's computer while shouting what I could only describe as cartoon profanity. You know, the Sazza, Frazzin, Hamma, Slammin', Whamma, Jammin' Jazz, you know, all that good stuff. The trio reunite, and well, as it turns out, PB's hand and Jake's arm are in a committed relationship. Jake's arm suspects that PB's hand has been cheating on him. Oh. The episode ends with Ice King getting attacked by that snake-spider hybrid that Jake accidentally created earlier in the episode, and they all lived happily ever after. From the very beginning, it's evident that this episode boasts a visually striking and unconventional animation style. David O'Reilly's creative direction truly shines, making A Glitch is a Glitch stand out as one of the most remarkable guest animated episodes in Adventure Time's history. I must say, watching this episode felt like taking a wild and surreal acid trip within one of my beloved shows. Now, regarding the storyline, although it may not be my absolute favorite episode in the series, it offers a straightforward plot with numerous humorous moments. Hey, that rhymed. Such as the amusing scene where PB begins making out with her hand before taking down the Ice King. I thought that was hilarious. David O'Reilly's involvement with Adventure Time is a pretty intriguing story. As revealed in a Q&A session with interviewer Daniel Rourke, it all started when Pendleton Ward, the creator of Adventure Time and a fan of David's short films, reached out to him in early 2010. However, at the time, David was deeply immersed in a project called The External World, a short film, and couldn't commit to the collaboration for the Adventure Time episode, so the collaboration was put on hold. But around a year later, after David had relocated to Los Angeles, he had several chance encounters with Penn, and their discussions about the episode collaboration were reignited. Soon enough, in 2013, A Glitch is a Glitch was released. I really can't believe that this episode was released over 10 years ago. Good God, I feel old. As per David, Pendleton Ward generously granted him extensive creative control for this episode. While David would have been content to animate one of the Adventure Time team's storyboards, Penn encouraged him to take charge of everything, including the writing and animation. It's worth noting that a few jokes were edited out of this episode due to concerns about their appropriateness for a younger audience, although it's intriguing to think about what might have been included. Despite these adjustments, it's clear that David takes immense pride in this creation, and I personally find it quite satisfying as well. Studio Soy also lended a helping hand in animating this episode as well. So this episode is one of 4 episodes that utilize distinct animation styles and are not regarded as part of the show's main storyline or canon. The other 3 episodes in the category are Food Chain, Bad Jubies, and Water Park Prank, which I'm sure I'll cover those episodes in the future as long as you guys want me to. Just let me know in the comments below. This is also the first episode to contain a modified version of the opening sequence since the Fiona and Cake special episodes Fiona and Cake and Bad Little Boy. However, BMO isn't featured in this opening, which is strange because they usually appear in the intro. This is also the second episode to have computer animation, the first being Guardians of Sunshine. The title card is a mixture of many faces and images from the show, which I thought was a neat piece of trivia. And speaking of trivia, the title card does not say Adventure Time Presents. Now, for those of you who are curious as to where the snail is hiding in this episode, he can be seen on the Ice King's computer while PB smashes it. As for the episode's ending theme, it features an 8-bit track titled About That Time, which was custom made for this specific episode. Surprisingly, it was crafted by none other than Flying Lotus, a well-known artist who has contributed music not only to Adventure Time, but also to Aqua Teen and various other projects. You might also recognize his music from several iconic Adult Swim bumpers. Interestingly, Flying Lotus happens to be a friend of David O'Reilly. Initially, they had intentions of creating a distinct intro for the episode, with Flying Lotus providing the score. Flying Lotus even shared some tracks for this purpose during the production phase. However, due to constraints in both time and budget, they were unable to proceed with the alternate intro idea, leading to the creation of the ending credits sequence that we see in the episode instead. That's kind of a bummer because I would have loved to see the intro they were originally planning to make, but I guess an ending sequence is way better than nothing. Now, for me personally, I found the animation style of this episode quite appealing. I'm also a massive fan of glitchy, distorted video effects, in case you guys couldn't already tell, so this style is just right up my alley. But I do understand that some viewers may have mixed feelings about it, partially due to its departure from the show's main canon and the unconventional animation style. And regarding the story, as I mentioned earlier, it's not my absolute favorite, but it's certainly not the weakest story in the series. Personally, I tend to favor the main canon episodes over the filler ones, but I do find that self-contained stories like this can be enjoyable in their own way. Overall, A Glitch is a Glitch is a pretty alright episode of Adventure Time, with a really unique art style and a wild story. If you have not seen this episode before, definitely give it a try. If you have seen this episode before, give it another watch, because it's a really neat, self-contained entry in the Adventure Time series that deserves more love. If you guys did go on to enjoy this video, do me a favor and leave a like, and let me know in the comments below if you guys want me to cover any other specific Adventure Time episodes for future videos. Subscribe to the channel if you're brand new around here, click the bell icon to be notified on whenever I upload a brand new video, follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and join the brand new Discord server, Omen Nexus, all links in the bio below. Have a fantastic day everyone, And remember that I found a bug in my computer.